examinations. So do visit AKS IAS Academy and also the website of AKS IAS Academy. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And the keywords and the key phrases which I would be using throughout my session will certainly be useful for you all for prelims, that is in regards to picking up or emphasizing on the factual, analytical and conceptual questions. And while you imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, so certainly your answer writing would be precise and concise and you will score higher marks in the mains examinations. So therefore, the AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis will certainly be added advantage for you to score higher marks in the mains 2020 as well as for the prelims and mains 2021. So do follow the entire session of the AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis and be benefited by it. And this session is in regards to the daily newspaper analysis of the Hindu of today's, that is dated 26th of November 2020. And before we get into the DNA of the Hindu newspaper, we would focus or look at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is, "It always seems impossible until it's done." So what is important is that definitely everything seems impossible until we really achieve it. So do not look at that it is impossible, but it is possible. And before I get into the news, I would say a very good morning to everyone, the one who are in the live and also in the live chat. Good morning to all. Good morning to Gauri Naidu, Azmat Khan, Malvika, Ajay Ram. All of you, a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And now I'll get into the topic, that is the DNA of the Hindu newspaper. And the news what we have today is that the Ministry of Home Affairs has issued a new or fresh COVID-19 guidelines. So we will look at the guidelines, the fresh COVID-19 guidelines which have been issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs. And why it has issued is certainly there is surge in the COVID-19 cases in many of the states and union territories, and because of the surge of the cases, the Ministry of Home Affairs have issued a fresh guidelines for surveillance, containment and caution. And this is because, as I said, it is in regards to the surge in COVID-19 cases, that too because of the festival seasons what we have experienced, and the another one is which is just supposed to be in the next month, that is December, that is the Christmas season, and followed by again the Sankranti, that is the another season in the month of January, would definitely add to the surge in COVID-19 cases. For that, the Ministry of Home Affairs have issued fresh guidelines, that is for surveillance, containment and caution. And not only in regards to the festival season, but because of the onset of the winter season, the surge in the COVID-19 cases might be very high, and the fresh guidelines will be effective from December 1st to December 31st, so that to contain the spread of SARS-CoV-2 virus. And definitely the Ministry of Home Affairs has stressed on the states to ensure that 80% of the contacts of all the persons who are tested positive for the COVID-19 should be traced within 72 hours. And not only they had to be traced within 72 hours, the tracking, identification and quarantine and follow-up should be for the next 14 days once they have been detected positive for the COVID-19. And Ministry of Home Affairs very clearly says that all this tracking, identification, quarantine and follow-up for the next 14 days should be done very strictly, and that is what the new fresh guidelines from the Ministry of Home Affairs, because of the surge in COVID-19 cases, have come up due to the festival season and the onset of winter season. And definitely the states and the union territories, the Ministry of Home Affairs says that there has to be assessment of the situation and they have to look at that there would be impose of the local restrictions such as night curfew. Wherever there is a possibility or there is a necessity that they have to impose local restrictions, they have to go ahead. That means the states and union territories is duty bound to assess the situation, and definitely this is the one that the Ministry of Home Affairs has also said to the state governments and to the union territory governments that they shall not impose any lockdown. So what is important, the Ministry of Home Affairs is making it very clear to the union or the union territories and the state governments is they can go ahead with impose of local restriction, that is as night curfew, but they cannot go ahead with imposing, they cannot or they should not impose the local lockdown, but there can be a lockdown only in the containment zone, and that too without the permission or consultation with the central government. The state or the union government cannot go ahead with imposing the lockdown. They can go ahead with the imposing of the lockdown in the containment zone, but outside the containment zone, the state and the union territory governments have to take the consultation, or with the prior consultation of the state governments itself, they can go ahead with the lockdown. And the Ministry of Home Affairs also made it very clear that as of now there are 92 lakh COVID-19 or COVID-19 cases and 1.3 lakh death cases. And this is the one which we need to focus, because the death cases certainly are increasing, even though we have the recovery rate more than 91-92%, but because of the festival season and the onset of the monsoon or the winter season is certainly that there would be a surge in the COVID-19 cases, and the ministry for the reason has issued a fresh guidelines which would be effective from December 1st to December 31st. And the main focus of the guidelines which has been issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs is very clear that they would wish to consolidate the entire substantial gains which the central government along with the state governments have achieved to contain the spread of the COVID-19, and by containing the spread of the SARS-CoV-2, they have made it very clear between the central and the state governments, or the health ministries from the center and the states have come together to decline or to contain the decline of the number of active cases across the country. So definitely they wanted to consolidate the kind of active cases which were declined earlier or which was restricted earlier should be taken into consideration, and they have to make sure that the number of active cases do not surge. That is why the Ministry of Home Affairs have come up with the fresh guidelines which will be effective from December 1st to December 31st. And before I get into the next topic, I would say very good morning to D. Suvarna and Madhu. A warm welcome to you all. And now I'll get into the another one which talks about that the Supreme Court has given or put a stay on the High Court. The High Court which has come up with a gag order. Gag order is like that some kind of restrictions. So High Court has gone ahead with the restrictions on the media, gag the media. So Andhra Pradesh High Court, which High Court? Andhra Pradesh High Court has gone ahead with gag order, that is gagging the media. So the media was actually reporting the FIR which was registered, and that too the FIR which was registered was alleging the illegal purchase of land in Amravati, that is in Andhra Pradesh. So the High Court, that is Andhra Pradesh High Court, has passed the gag order as per the FIR which was registered on September 15 to 2020. So please do understand, this is a background for what the news what we are focusing today. So the news what has happened earlier is the High Court has passed the gag order once there was an FIR which was registered on XYZ. I will tell the names of it, that is Srinivas and others, the relatives of the Supreme Court judge also. There was an FIR which was registered on September 15. Once or within hours, the FIR was registered on Mr. Srinivas and the relatives of the Supreme Court judge. The Andhra Pradesh High Court has passed the gag order, and now the Supreme Court has now you link the High Court, Andhra Pradesh High Court, which has passed the gag order, that too by the FIR which was registered on Mr. Srinivas, that is D. Srinivas, and the relatives of the sitting Supreme Court judge. The FIR was named, and once it was named, the High Court has passed the gag order, but now the petition was filed by D. Srinivas. Once the petition was filed by D. Srinivas in the Supreme Court, and now the Supreme Court on November 25th, 2020 has put a stay on the interim direction, that is the High Court, Andhra Pradesh High Court gag order on the media. That is, the media was reporting on a FIR registered that there was illegal purchase of the land in Amravati. So the entire news is in regards to the gag order, the media which was reporting about the illegal purchase of land in Amravati. And in the Supreme Court, the 3-judge bench which was led by Ashok Bhushan has given 4 weeks time to the former additional Advocate General and to D. Srinivas to file the response in the Supreme Court. Till then, the Supreme Court has put a stay on to the interim direction or the Andhra Pradesh High Court gag order, which was immediately put forth or which has immediately come up after the FIR was registered on D. Srinivas and the relatives of sitting Supreme Court judge. So this is very important that the Supreme Court has put a stay on the Andhra Pradesh High Court gag order. And we will look at what was the FIR which was filed against D. Srinivas and the relatives of the Supreme Court judge. So the FIR which was filed was based, or it was under Prevention of Corruption Act, it was under criminal breach of trust, cheating under the Indian Penal Code, and abuse of official position in the state, sharing of privileged information, and causing loss to the public exchequer. So the offences, all these 6 offences, please do try to take it into consideration, because you will understand on what basis the FIR was filed in regards to the illegal purchase of land in the Amravati, wherein an FIR was registered, and once within an FIR was registered, the High Court has passed a gag order on the media. So definitely the Supreme Court now has put a stay on the investigation, and it has not only put a stay, the Supreme Court has not only gone ahead with staying the investigation or the High Court direction, but it has also barred the state from taking any coercive action, that is taking any kind of action against the person, that is D. Srinivas and the relatives of the Supreme Court judge whose name has been filed in the FIR. So definitely the Supreme Court has stayed and also barred the state not to take any coercive action, that is not to go ahead with any kind of implication onto the persons, and the order was based on, that means the order, what order we are talking about, it is the order of the Supreme Court, that it was based on the writ petitions which was filed by Mr. Srinivas in the Supreme Court against the High Court, that is Andhra Pradesh High Court gag order, which was issued on September 15. And the Supreme Court has also very clearly said the state not to take any coercive action, and then the Jagan Mohan Reddy government, that is Andhra Pradesh government, has appealed to the Supreme Court, and then the bench has issued a notice that the hearing will be come up, that is the next hearing on the High Court, Andhra Pradesh High Court gag order will come up in the last week of January 2021, that is next year. So this is very important information in regards to the Andhra Pradesh government, Andhra Pradesh High Court, and then it is related to the illegal purchase of land in Amravati, and again a writ petition which was filed by the persons whose name was involved or which was part of the FIR, that is D. Srinivas. With the writ petition he has filed, or he has gone ahead approaching the Supreme Court. So you have the Supreme Court here, the High Court and the gag order illegal purchase of land, and the FIR. So in the FIR you have various cases, that is in regards to on what offences. So you have 6 offences which are been mentioned in the FIR against D. Srinivas and the relatives of Supreme Court, wherein once the FIR was registered, the Andhra Pradesh High Court has passed the gag order within hours of the registration against the persons who are involved in as per the FIR. And Harika has also joined. A warm welcome to you, Harika. So this you can focus in regards to the polity and also in regards to the judiciary. High Court, and then Andhra Pradesh High Court, Andhra Pradesh Government, Supreme Court stay and barring and the offences FIR. And you have another news wherein Supreme Court has reserved order. That means it did not go ahead with pronouncing any kind of verdict or judgment on the in-service quota. This is in regards to the reservation. So the reservation or the quota is pertaining to the in-service. So this in-service is in regards to the medical or doctors. So we will look at this and we will try to understand what is that, how best we can try to analyze it for UPSC perspective. And this is the Supreme Court has reserved its order. It did not pronounce its order, it has reserved its order on what? On the question whether Tamil Nadu and Kerala government should provide 50% of in-service reservation. So this is a keyword here. What is the keyword is that whether the Tamil Nadu government and the Kerala government can provide 50% of in-service reservation. So in-service reservation 50% in regards to what? It is in regards to the admissions to the super specialty medical courses. Please do understand, this in-service reservation of 50% which is being taken up by the Tamil Nadu and Kerala government is in regards to the admission to super specialty medical courses in government colleges for the current academic year. So what is the question here, or why the news why it is in news? Because the question is whether Tamil Nadu and Kerala can provide 50% in service reservation for admissions to super specialty medical courses. Please do understand, for the medical courses in government college. This is the question, and that is what now the point which the Supreme Court is looking at the entire, whether the Tamil Nadu and Kerala states or the governments can provide 50%, and now they have reserved their order. That means they haven't pronounced their judgment. Now we will focus at what is all about it. So definitely the bench or the Supreme Court was hearing to the plea which was filed by doctors and postgraduate qualified who are qualified in the NEET exam. So these two, that is the doctors, that is along with the postgraduates, are challenging the reservation of 50% in the in-service in super specialty medical courses in government college. So please do understand here, who is the one who is challenging the Tamil Nadu and Kerala government's 50% in-service reservation? It is the doctors and it is the postgraduates. They are challenging the reservation. So once they are challenged, now the Tamil Nadu government argued that. So look at it now, the doctors and postgraduate have filed a petition and they are challenging the Tamil Nadu government and the Kerala governments providing 50% in service reservation. But the Tamil Nadu government is arguing that there is an acute need, that is very severe need of super specialty qualified doctors both in academia and practice. So definitely because of this, there is a necessity that the Tamil Nadu government says that we have to provide 50% in service reservation, and not only in regards to the acute need of super specialty qualified doctors, but they say that 50% in service reservation would be because of the judgment which was pronounced by the bench, that is Supreme Court, that is Constitution Bench judgment on August 31st, that the Tamil Nadu and Kerala government can provide 50% in service reservation. So here there are 2 points what the Tamil Nadu government is arguing against the challenge being made or petition been filed by the doctors and postgraduate in the Supreme Court is, one is that there is an acute need of the super specialty qualified doctors, and they are providing 50% in service reservation because of the constitution bench judgment which was pronounced on August 31st. So these are the two reasons which the Tamil Nadu government is arguing in favor of providing 50% in service reservation for admission to super specialty medical courses in government colleges. And that judgment of August 31st has also empowered states. This is very important. That judgment has empowered states to devise or to come up with a separate channel of entry into the in-service doctors. Look at it. The judgment has come up with a pronouncement that the states can be empowered to devise or to come up with a separate channel of entry for in-service doctors. And the apex court, as per the verdict of August 31st, it very clearly states that the state has the legislative competence. This is a keyword. As per the judgment of the apex court, Supreme Court of August 31st, it says that the states are empowered and states have or has the legislative competence, and it has the authority to provide for a separate source of entry, that is a separate channel of entry for in-service candidates who are seeking admission into the postgraduate or diploma courses in regards to or under the entry 5 of list 3. So it is very clear as per the Supreme Court August 31st verdict. The states are empowered, the states have the legislative competence and authority to come up or to provide or to devise a separate channel of entry for the in-service doctors. But if you look at the other side of it, the Tamil Nadu or the Madras and Kerala High Court had not intervened with states' move to provide in-service reservation. That means the Madras and Tamil Nadu Kerala High Court did not intervene, but this was now challenged by the doctors and the postgraduate in the Supreme Court, and now the doctors have challenged the quota of 50%, that is in regards to the in-service of the doctors, that now they have been challenging, the doctors and the PGs are challenging, and they are brought in now, or they are referring to the 1999 Constitutional Supreme Court bench verdict, which has given in favor of the doctors that 50% quota cannot be implemented in the in-service. And as per the judgment of 1999 Constitution bench, it very clearly states that as per the doctors, the way they have challenged the 1999 Constitution bench, it says that there has to be a merit and merit alone, which should be focusing on for the admission for the super specialty, and there cannot be a 50% in service reservation. Please do focus here. There are two judgments. One judgment is that the Tamil Nadu government is arguing is as per the constitutional bench judgment of August 31st, which very clearly states that as per the judgment it empowers the states that it can have the legislative competence and authority to have or devise or provide separate channel of entry for the in-service doctors through the 50% reservation. But the doctors have challenged, and they are referring to the 1999 Constitutional Bench verdict, which very clearly says that the judgment of 1999 that the admission to the super specialty level should be based on merit and merit alone. So there now lies a kind of hiccup between the judgment of August 31 and 1999 Constitution verdict. Therefore, the Supreme Court has reserved the case. It has not pronounced the case. It has reserved. It has reserved its order. That is why now we will now you can understand why the Supreme Court has reserved this order in regards to a question whether Tamil Nadu and Kerala should provide 50% in service reservation, because we have two judgment, Constitution Bench judgment of August 31st and the 1999 Constitution Bench verdict. So because of this, the Supreme Court has reserved its order in regards to the in service 50% providing in service reservation. And there is another news which talks about Jallikattu. Jallikattu is India's entry for Oscar awards. So this is again in regards to the entertainment, that the Malayalam film Jallikattu, directed by Lijo Jose Pellicer, has been selected as an India's official entry for the Best International Feature Film category for the 93rd Academy Awards. And this is, you can look or you can consider this from prelims perspective, that is, you can focus on who is the director, and it is entry for what? It is for Best International Feature Film category, and which Academy Award it is? It is the 93rd Academy Awards. And Jallikattu is the third Malayalam film which has had an official entry for the Oscars. The first one is Guru in the year 1997, and the second one in the year 2011, that is Adaminti Makan Abu, which is another film, Malayalam film, and the third one is now Jallikattu. So again, this is also for prelims perspective. First in the year 1997, second in 2011, and now third in the year 2020, which the Malayalam film has been chosen as the country's official entry for the Oscar. And if you look at the Indian film to be had for the Oscars is Lagan in the year 2001, Mother India in 1957, and Salam Bombay in 1988. So definitely this information which we are focused is certainly for prelims, that is for entertainment or awards you can focus for. And the selection has been made by the Film Federation of India, which is a committee of 14 members, and it has shortlisted 26 films, and out of 26 films, Jallikattu is the one which has been selected for the official entry, country's official entry into the Oscars. And it was, Jallikattu was also premiered at Toronto International Film Festival, and also at the Bhushan International Film Festival, and various other major venues also it has been premiered. And therefore the Film Federation of India has, with a 14-member committee, has shortlisted Jallikattu from 26 films. So this is pure a prelims perspective point of view. And now we will look at the another news, which is of Bhutan has established formal ties with Japan. So it is Bhutan and Japan which has established formal ties between both the countries, and it has established a formal diplomatic relation. That is, Bhutan has announced its establishment of diplomatic relations with Germany, and now it has now formal ties with 53 states and various European Union countries, and this was announced at a ceremony, that is exchange of verbal notes ceremony, which was held in Delhi, and it was taken up by the Bhutan ambassador in India, Wetsop Nangal, and Germany's ambassador Walter Linder. And they said that this diplomatic relation between Bhutan and Germany is definitely, this day is a special day, and it is a rare event that both the countries have witnessed the establishment of the diplomatic relations between Bhutan and Germany. And with the establishment of the diplomatic relations, both the ambassadors have expressed the desire to further deepen the friendship and cooperation between the two countries, that will strengthen, and it will make sure that they will move forward effectively to have all the formal ties between both the countries. Now if you look at, even though they have established the diplomatic relations, Germany did not have or did not plan to set up an embassy in Thimphu. Please do understand, they have gone ahead with establishing a diplomatic relation, but Germany did not plan to set up an embassy in Thimphu, that is capital of Bhutan. At present, and it would conduct, that means Germany, rather than setting up an embassy in Thimphu, that is in Bhutan, it will go ahead with, or it will conduct all its relations through the embassy in Delhi. This is the very, very important concept here between India and Bhutan. Please do understand, no doubt it is Bhutan and Germany, but we are again bringing in India and Bhutan foreign policy or foreign relations, because Germany will go ahead with taking up all the, or conducting its relations with Germany through the embassy which is in Delhi. No doubt Bhutan and Germany also maintains honorary consulates in each other country capitals. They have the honorary consulates in their capitals, but Germany did not still think or plan to set up an embassy in Bhutan, but all the relations would be taken up through the embassy which is in India. And in 1949, Bhutan and India, now if you look at Bhutan and India, have signed a friendship agreement in the year 1949, and since then both the countries are going ahead or maintaining a closely engaged, and definitely this closely engaged or coordinated effort is on all the foreign policies, and definitely Bhutan has had a very cautious historically establishing ties with various other countries, and it was in 2007 when Bhutan has first gone ahead with the elections, and then it has come up with formal relations with 22 countries in the year 2007. And even though there were a lot of pressure by various countries, that is by US and China, that they would go ahead with having ties with Bhutan, but still the Bhutan did not go ahead with having much of formal ties with various other countries, but in 2007 it was only with 22 countries. But after the 2008, that is, there was an again election, and the Prime Minister Jigme Thinley was elected as the Prime Minister of Bhutan, and since then there was a rapid increase in diplomatic relations, which was increased by signing agreements from Bhutan to various other countries, has been increased with 31 countries in 5 years, and now almost 53 countries, now it has a formal relation. So definitely it has increased formal ties with various other countries, that is 31 countries in 5 years. Probably it wanted to have, or it wanted to be the non-permanent seat or win the non-permanent seat, which there was an election for the United Nations Security Council in the year 2013 and 2014, but eventually Bhutan could not win the non-permanent seat. But definitely since 2008 there is a rapid increase from Bhutan's diplomatic formal ties to various other countries, and now it is to 53 countries. And even though it is now we have, Bhutan and Germany has gone ahead with establishing the diplomatic relations, but still there is, since 1970s itself, Germany has been supporting Bhutan's socio-economic development. So this is again a keyword, because it is not only since 2020 but since 1970, before the diplomatic relations were established between Bhutan and Germany, Germany has been supporting Bhutan's socio-economic development. So that is the point which and also be part of the match the following in regards to the Bhutan Germany diplomatic relations, establishing of diplomatic relation, which among the following statements are incorrect, and it can be in regards to the match the following also. And Bhutan now continues to receive support from European Union, that is Germany being part of the European Union. So definitely Germany is the largest contributor for the EU's budget also, and there was people to people contact also between Bhutan and Germany. So we have focused this from Bhutan, Germany establishing its new diplomatic relations, at the same time trying to make sure that India and Bhutan also have the friendly agreement or friendly relations between both of them since 1949, and how Germany is now not really in a plan to set up an embassy in Bhutan, but would continue its relations through the embassy which is in Delhi. So these are all very conceptual understanding which you need to focus. Bhutan with Germany establishing its diplomatic relations with 53 countries as on now. And there is another news which talks about government allots 2000 crore for infrastructure funding. So definitely because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, we have seen there is a lot of damage to the economic activity across the world and also to the Indian economy. So definitely the government of India has come up with economic stimulus package in various phases, and now the government has approved the infusion of 6,000 crore as equity into a new debt platform. So why this infusion of 6,000 crore equity is because to raise or to increase 1.1 lakh crore, and this 1.1 lakh crore will be raised by infusing of 6,000 crore as equity in the new debt platform, so that 1.1 lakh crore will be used for financing infrastructure project by 2025. So please do understand, here the point is the government or the cabinet has approved the infusion of 6,000 crore as equity in the new debt platform, so that it would raise 1.1 lakh crore, and that 1.1 lakh crore will be used for financing infrastructure projects by which will be taken up from now till 2025, and this 6,000 crore equity will be injected by 2021-22, that is next financial year. It will be injected into the public, that is the new debt platform, and the cabinet has approved 200 crore for dispersal in this year, wherein it would be subject to the funds being required. So if it is required, then it will be infusing or approving 2,000 crore rupees this year. Overall it is 1.1 lakh crore up to 2025 for financing infrastructure projects, so that the emphasis by the government or the cabinet is on the or financing or developing the infrastructure projects by 2025. And stimulus package, so definitely the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced this plan, that is the stimulus package, by infusing 6,000 crore as equity, so that this is sponsored by NIIF. So NIIF is sponsoring this, that is National Investment and Infrastructure Fund is sponsoring the equity capital which to the debt platform, which will raise 1.1 lakh crore for financing infrastructure project, and this will be the last round of stimulus measure which is announced by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on November 12th. So what is important is this equity capital is sponsored by which among the following? It is sponsored by NIIF, that is National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. And now we will focus at the global capital, how this 6,000 crore equity fund will be helpful, which is sponsored by NIIF, and this will take all the necessary steps to use the equity investment of 6,000 crore, and which will raise up to 1.1 lakh crore, which will finance the infrastructure projects, not only domestic infrastructure project but also to the global pension funds and sovereign wealth funds. So this is how the last stimulus package of 6,000 crore will be also used for global capital, not only to domestic but also to the global pension funds and sovereign wealth funds. So these two keywords are very important here that you need to focus, which you can use it for your short notes for the mains examination in regards to the stimulus package, in regards to the stimulus measures taken up by the cabinet or the government of India in making sure that it pushes the or surges the economy, and it makes sure that it revives the business in the country such as India, which has been badly hit by the global supply chain system. And this infusion of 6,000 crores will act as a catalyst in attracting investments to the infrastructure sector, which is now envisaged through the program called as National Infrastructure Pipeline. So this is the key phrase again, which is very important for the mains perspective, how the government of India is attracting the foreign investors to invest in India, especially in the infrastructure sector, which it will be through the platform of National Infrastructure Pipeline. And this National Infrastructure Pipeline, which will be a catalyst for attracting the investment of the infrastructure project, which will be adding to the global capital by infusion of 6,000 crores as equity, is expected that it will be a well capitalized, well funded and well governed. So all these are the keywords which have to be in your answer, for the short notes, which is now sponsored by NIIF. And definitely NIIF plays it is definitely playing a major role in infrastructure financing, and it is playing a major role in development of bond market in India. So not only in regards to the infrastructure but also in the bond market. So these are again the keywords for your conceptual understanding how the infusion of 6,000 crores equity will be, which is sponsored by NIIF, will play a major role not only in the infrastructure projects by 2025, but it will also play a major role in development of bond market in India, wherein it has AAA and AA rated intermediary, which is between the bond markets in India and which is between infrastructure projects and various companies in India. So the last paragraph is crucial for your better understanding, conceptual understanding. This you can take it as a part of your short notes, because it is a well capitalized, well funded and well governed, and NIIF is playing or would play a major role in infrastructure financing and in development of bond market. So definitely NIIF will be a intermediary between the bond markets and infrastructure projects. This is a crucial analytical and conceptual understanding for you all from the mains perspective. So this is in regards to the economy. When we are talking about economy, it is certainly in regards to the stimulus measure taken up by the finance minister, and the cabinet has approved the infusion of 6,000 crore as equity, which will raise up to 1.1 lakh crore for financing infrastructure project and also the development of bond markets. So now we will focus in regards to the recapitulating. So this is in regards to the health, how the Ministry of Home Affairs have come up with the fresh guidelines, and which will be in effect from December 1st to December 31st. And this we have looked at the gag order which was by the Andhra Pradesh High Court. Now the Supreme Court has put a stay and barred the High Court not to take any coercive action against the persons whose name was involved in the FIR which was registered. And then Supreme Court, again this is in regards to the polity, wherein Supreme Court has reserved its order in regards to the in-service 50% quota in the medical or super specialty admission. Jallikattu, this is again in regards to the entertainment, which you can take it into consideration how best we can use it for the prelims perspective. And Bhutan, again this in regards to the international relations, and also in regards to the India-Bhutan relations. India-Bhutan relation also you can focus this news, very important for mains perspective. And this is in regards to the economy, that is the economics or stimulus package, part of the stimulus measure taken up by the Ministry of Finance and the cabinet approval of 6,000 crore of equity, and out of that 2,000 crore will be used for the infrastructure funding, subject to whether the funds are necessary. So these are the very crucial information which we have analyzed it today, and I hope this session was an informative, knowledgeable session both for prelims as well as mains perspective, focusing emphatically onto the mains 2020. And I would say a very big thank you to all and a good luck to you all. Do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule, and then do take care of your physical health and mental health. And last but not the least, do like the video, share the video, and subscribe the AKS IAS English medium YouTube channel for the daily news analysis in English medium. And do visit the website and also subscribe the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. And see you again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. for the daily news analysis. So I would say a big thank you to all and a good luck, and then see you tomorrow.